Hare Krishna. We are about to begin Srimad Bhagavatam class. Second Canto, chapter 9, first verse. Answers by citing the Lord's version. But first, let me offer my obeisances unto Lord Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, who is the supreme, all-pervading personality of Godhead. I meditate upon that transcendent reality who is the primeval cause of all causes, from whom all manifested universes arise, in whom they dwell, and by whom they are destroyed. I meditate upon that eternally effulgent Lord who is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations and is yet beyond them. It is he only who first imparted Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahma, the first created being, and through him this world like a mirage appears real, even to great sages and demigods. And because of him the material universes created by the three modes of nature appear factual, although they are unreal. I meditate therefore upon him, the absolute truth, who is eternally existent in his transcendental abode, and who is forever free of illusion. Lord Shri Krishna ki jai. Completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavad Purana propounds the highest truth which is understandable by those devotees who are pure at heart. The highest truth, reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam compiled by the Srila Vyasadeva is sufficient in itself for God realization. As soon as one attentively and submissively hears this message of Srimad Bhagavatam, he becomes attached to the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, chapter 9. On the previous verse, the previous chapter, I'll read that verse. This is almost like a narrator. He who prepared himself, he also prepared himself to reply to all that King Parikshit inquired from him. Maharaj Parikshit was the best in the dynasty of the Pandus, and thus he was able to ask the right questions from the right person. Answers by citing the older version, chapter 9, text number 1. Shri Sukha Vachaha Atma Mayama Rite Rajan Parasya Nubala Vit Manaha Na Gate Tarta Sambandaha Swatna Jastur Evanjasa. Evanjasa. Completely Evanjasa. Swapna? Dream. Translation. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, O King, unless one is influenced by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no meaning to the relationship of the pure soul in pure consciousness with the material body. It is just like the dreamer seeing his own body working. Everyone walks around. You have eyes. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul. And you use these eyes to see things that are going on in your world, whatever that world may be. The realized soul who has acquired some self-realization, he sees the whole world as like a movie. And he is just a viewer of the movie, like sitting in a movie theater watching a movie. He's also participating in the movie sometimes and doing things which are, I would say, related to the movie, whatever that may be. But everyone is walking around watching their life unfold like a movie. It's not really something that can be predicted. It's just because there's so many influences like karma, desires, all these different things, and they all become like I somehow manifested in front of you, and you're watching this whole thing unfold. Like a dreamer, seeing his own body working. And so the self-realized soul sees that his body is acting according to the modes of material nature. He's not really involved in it personally, but he's going through the actions. But the conditioned soul sees everything like, I'm the doer. I see these things I have to do out here. I have to complete this and I have to do this, and I am the one who is responsible for all of these things getting done. Is it? Yeah. But actually, all you have to do is desire and be a little more peaceful, and you see that this is all being done by higher energies. And you're a participant in that energy, that's all. You're not the doer in the absolute sense, you're simply a participant. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. The question of Maharaj Parikshit is perfectly answered as to how a living entity began his material life, although he is apart from the material body and the mind. The mind is also not us. Some people think it is, but it's not. The mind is also activated by the soul. The energy, the spiritual spark, is causing the mind to become activated, not the other way around. It's like the spiritual spark is causing the body to be activated, and the senses and so forth. It's a very amazing creation, actually. It's all built around this skeleton. This material body is built around the skeleton with muscle and tissue and organs and skin. Some very, very beautiful, some very not so beautiful. It's really, but underneath is all these other really not so appealing things like skeleton and organs. It's a rather strange creation, actually. Yeah. The spirit soul, though, is distinct from the material conception of his life. But he is absorbed in such a material conception because of being influenced by the external energy. The external energy is a broad concept, but it means the modes of material nature, and it means the energy that we look out and see every day, and I have to engage in this material energy and so forth. But such a material conception, because of being influenced by the external energy of the Lord, is called Atma Maya. This is already explained in the first canto in connection with Vyasadev's realization of the Supreme Lord and his external energy. The external energy is controlled by the Lord, and the living entities are controlled by the external energy, by the will of the Lord. This is all amalgamated. The material energy is controlling us through the modes of material nature. And in the higher sense, this is all the will of Krishna. His energies are put into motion by his will, and everything is going on. It doesn't mean that the living entity can't make bad choices and do bad things, because the modes of material nature are the influential aspect, which cause him to think in a certain way and act in a certain way, and create karma and disagreement. But the soul is separate from all of this, and when there is self-realization, the soul becomes free from the thinking that he's the doer, and therefore he becomes free from the karma which is involved in that illusion. Therefore, all the living entity is purely consciousness in his pure state. He is subordinate to the will of the Lord in being influenced by the external energy of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita also the same thing is confirmed. Bhagavad Gita 15:15, that the Lord is present within the heart of every living entity, and all consciousness and forgetfulness of the living entity are influenced by the Lord. See, when the soul is in the womb of a new mummy, at a certain stage he becomes conscious. And he realizes that he's again back in the material world, inside of another mother. And he begins to pray to Krishna. This time, because in that state there's nothing to do. You don't have, your senses are not activated, your body's not activated. You're just a soul sitting in a very compact, wet, uncomfortable situation, and you can't get out. There's nowhere to go. You can't go outside. And you can go out and see the sunshine. You're just stuck inside somebody else's body. Somebody else's body, which you eventually call mummy. And so while you're in there, you have nothing else to do. You start to become self-realized again. And you start to pray to Krishna for, please, I will, in this life, when I come out, I will not forget you, I promise. But as soon as he does come out into the air and into the sunshine and so forth, the illusion begins again, all over again. And there's a new mommy, new daddy, all these different elements in your life, and you become conditioned to thinking that you are from this race, you are from this culture, you are from whatever it may be. And again, you take your lessons of your ABCs and everything, and you begin to forget, and you start to think you are that body all over again, and you forget all those nice prayers that you offered inside the womb. So this is the forgetfulness. All this forgetfulness is influenced by Krishna. The creation is very complete. It's not lacking any elements whatsoever to keep us completely controlled. So this is a long purport, but I think I'll stop here, not to make this class too long. But the point is that the living entity is not this material body, and he's living in a sort of dream. And when you begin to perceive that, then you begin to perceive your beginnings of self-realization can take place. And of course, our process for self-realization is that which is given to us by Lord Chaitanya, the chanting of the holy names. And this is reinforced and encouraged by all previous acharyas, and strongly reinforced and encouraged by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. So all these books are about that final understanding. Just take Krishna's name, His name and Himself are non-different, and engage in the real process and the very easiest process of self-realization, which is chanting Krishna's names.